Okay, so if you'll notice right now, laying down, I have my hands on my belly, right below my lower rib cage. And ultimately, all I'm trying to do is breathe into that space where my hands are. If you'll notice how my stomach is rising and falling with every breath that I take. And note that my chest, my shoulders, my neck are doing very little movement because I'm forcing a lot of the air down lower. Ultimately, what I'm trying to do is use my diaphragm and the muscles around my trunk, my transverse abdominis, to ultimately create the breathing pattern for me. Now we're going to do this in order to one, control your autonomic nervous system, get it out of a fight or flight response and more rest and digest so that we can move more fluidly, and then two, allow us for increased lung capacity. Now if you notice, I just moved my hands down below my hips so that I can breathe in to the sides of my torso on my obliques. Still, you may notice I'm getting a little bit more movement out of my stomach as well. So continue to try to breathe into your hands and expand the belly as much as you can. You'll see a different angle here in just a moment of the same sequence. From this angle, it's the same sequence, but just note that I'm breathing in my nose and out my mouth through the belly. Okay, so here all we're going to do is a little bit of myofascial release work through the feet. Ultimately, if we want to gain more stability in the ankles, more proprioception in the feet, and spread those toes out, we're going to have to release some of the tension that you have there. So finding a hard surface, this ball works really well. You want to find something that's got some firmness to it, and just rolling over your feet. Just make anywhere between 3 and 5 passes, applying as much pressure that feels comfortable to you, and just kind of give yourself a nice light massage. We'll go ahead and switch to the other foot as well. You'll notice I'm just rolling right through the arch of my foot. That can be painful for some people at some points in time, and you may notice that one foot feels a little bit differently than the other, and that's okay. Just work through it, 3 to 5 passes, and once we're done, we'll move on to our next exercise. Now with this sequence, all we're going to do is work the toes a little bit. Just kind of spread them out, maybe move them up and down, try to pick up the big toe, pick up all of the toes as much as you can, really just strengthening the top of the foot, the anterior tibialis, and getting those toes used to curling up and back and extending instead of flexing and being curled under and being tight, right? Once again, more stability in the feet creates more stability in the ankles, works its way up the chain all the way up to our knees and hips. Then from here, we're just going to do a little bit of flexion with the feet, just again working at a different angle. It's the same movement essentially, just applying pressure in a different angle. And here we're doing a little corkscrewing with our feet and tibias, just ultimately externally rotating and trying to supinate the bottom of the foot so that we can create a little bit more of an arch. If you can see from the side here, we have my foot completely flat on the floor, and ultimately I'm just creating somewhat of a stronger arch. As you can tell, I could use some work in this area as well.